What is up, hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack everything our Web3 and personal finance education. If you guys are brand new here, there is a short series going on the channel, so definitely check that out. Also, at the end of my interview today, there's a bonus segment that's clipped out that you can find on my LimeWire profile. That is going to be linked in the description, as well as the Slingshot DAO will be linked in the description below. Now, in this episode, I sit down with my good friend Tabby, and he is a contributor, as well as myself, to something called the Slingshot DAO. As a full disclaimer here, I'm a contributor and a supporter of the DAO. That means that I own some of these tokens. I always like to disclose that up front to everyone to be transparent. I want to see this DAO succeed. The Sandstorm company that I am the CEO of is also contributing to the DAO. So you guys have full context here as to me being a contributor and a supporter of the DAO. I'm really bullish on the concept of UGC being created across the entire open web. But the DAO hasn't bankrolled this whatsoever. This is literally two contributors talking about the DAO and what's really exciting and how it works, just to sort of get the word out there about it. So if it sounds interesting, the links will be in the description below. It's based on Polygon, and it is effectively a gaming Kickstarter / gaming launchpad. It's a really exciting concept that rewards people for their ideas. They come up with an idea for a game, you submit it to the DAO, people then vote on it, and it gets funded. The winners of the leaderboard, so if you get picked as the winner, you get the most votes, and everybody wants your idea to get funded and built, you then get rewarded by $2,000 in USDC. So the really cool concept of a DAO is that there is no central organization, so everyone is contributing. There's hundreds of people that are contributing. I believe at the time of recording this, the first epoch is about to end, and that is a really exciting time for people to get involved, to start voting. So the links will be in the description below, and I hope you guys enjoy my conversation here with Tabby. All right, everyone. I am joined today by Tabby, a fellow contributor of the Slingshot DAO. How's it going, Tabby?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, I'm excited to unpack this. As a contributor to Slingshot myself and a supporter, I'm excited to kind of get a high level. We could talk about use cases and just go through what it is. So to start this off for the community, what is Slingshot?
Great question. Slingshot DAO. Slingshot DAO is a pretty cool concept. It's very novel. Essentially, it allows anybody who has an idea for something that they wish to see brought to life in the gaming world to actually have a platform to submit that idea, get the community involved, and see it brought to life. So in summary, you could say it's a community-owned Kickstarter and product hunt.
Got it. So let's go through an example. I know the DAO is working with Sandbox, who, I've worked closely with at Sandstorm. And I know the DAO is also having a lot of ideas contributed to Roblox. So walk us through an example of how this would flow with, let's say, an individual that's interested in creating a game or an experience.
Yeah, sure. So the platform has been built in a, platform agnostic manner where it can support Web 2 or Web 3 platforms. So as you mentioned, initially, the focus is on both Sandbox and Roblox. So that's where the support is. So if a Sandbox user has an idea for a game or an experience they wish to see, but for whatever reason, they don't have the money, the technical skills, perhaps the land to see it brought to life, they can come to Slingshot DAO. There's a very simple submission form that they just have to fill out. It just captures essentially the whole idea, right? Concept art, gameplay, game mechanics, etc. Once that's completed, the idea then is submitted. It gets shown in a leaderboard area. And this is where you have like a dynamic leaderboard. The community will then come and vote for their favorite ideas, the ones that they want to see brought to life, the ones that they want to see built and go and play and experience, etc. And then at the end of the epoch, currently epochs are 2 weeks in length, the idea that's received the most amount of votes, that's the one that actually gets funded from Slingshot DAO's treasury. That funding goes to a professional studio. They build the experience. And then once the experience is built, it's transferred to Slingshot DAO, who publishes it under their main account. So at the end of the day, what happens is you end up with Slingshot DAO, which is of course the community, having all of these different games and experiences in different worlds. And all of that, all the upside that's generated from that is of course community owned, which is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And initially to kickstart all of this, all winning ideas, because you're probably thinking, okay, well, why would anybody submit an idea here? What's in it for them? Well, it's simple. Anybody who submits an idea that wins, initially they're going to get $2,000 USDC. They're also going to receive a bunch of Sling tokens. So they've got all of that incentive. And then, of course, it's great to have all of the kudos associated with, it's your idea, right? That's now been brought to life, that's now been built, that people are playing, which is really great to see. On the voter side of things, because obviously we've seen, there's a lot of voter fatigue in this space. What we've done different is it's actually fun, right? When people watch Shark Tank, they get excited, right? They feel like they're involved. They want to see the different ideas and then you feel like this emotional connection or attachment with a particular concept. And, that's what Slingshot DAO has tried to do here as well. So it's actually a fun experience going to vote for the different ideas. But, on top of that, there is a nice design mechanism there that rewards everybody that actually votes, regardless of which idea you vote for. There are rewards also for active participation. So every single active participant in the ecosystem gets rewarded. And that's really what's unique about Slingshot DAO and truly why Slingshot DAO is community centric.
Yeah, well said. And I like the comparison of like a Kickstarter model where it rewards the people with the ideas and everybody sort of gets the rewards for participating, which creates quite a cool dynamic. So let's talk about a use case. I know that tomorrow the first epoch is done. Let's talk about what that looks like. Are there, 1 million ideas? Are there 5? Are there 1,000? What does it look like? And are those, mainly in Sandbox? Are they mainly in Roblox? And what's that distribution look like?
Sure. So Slingshot DAO only launched a couple of weeks ago. And in this first epoch, the Genesis epoch, there's 3 ideas, it's equally distributed, 3 ideas in Roblox, 3 ideas in Sandbox. And the ideas are pretty cool. So I really do encourage everybody just to quickly go to the leaderboard section, select whichever world you're interested in, and have a look. A few of the ideas have video trailers. So these authors, these ideators have really put a lot of effort into it. And as you scroll through the page, obviously there's some similarities to Kickstarter in the layout. So hopefully everyone's familiar with it. But it's really cool to see people's imagination on paper, right? There's a lot of animation. There's a lot of concept art. It's very visual. So that's very exciting to see, and very keen to see which ideas are going to win. And what Slingshot DAO also did was hosted a AMA in the Discord to give a platform, a channel for all ideators to come on stage and actually explain their idea, explain their vision, why they think this game should be built. And it also afforded the community an opportunity to ask questions, to critique the ideas and really get involved. So really at the core of Slingshot DAO is collaboration. It's community collaboration, and really, I guess, owning the future of UGC, right? It's taking a different stance to where, a lot of the larger companies are trying to take this new paradigm.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things is interesting because a lot of people probably saw the announcement where Sandstorm is a contributor to the DAO, and it's a really great opportunity because it's going to provide lots of really great ideas and proposals for builders that are verified on Sandstorm. So really excited to see that grow and a lot of the builders getting access to more ideas. And I think there's a really cool part of this that comes from the different platforms. So, Sandstorm's partnered with 14 different metaverses. And you mentioned that the DAO is actually agnostic to the different worlds. And I'm fascinated by like the Fortnites of the world. What do you think is going to be the big demand? Do you think it's going to be around Roblox? Do you think it's going to be Fortnite? Do you think it's going to be Web3 worlds over the next year or so? What kind of things are you seeing? Because I know you're on Discord on the DAO daily, putting your little quips and funny sayings into the into the chat. So what do you think is the direction that the DAO sort of moves?
Oh, Steve, that's a fun question. And the beautiful thing is, luckily, I'm not an expert on this and, in predicting the future, and I don't need to be, which is the best part, right? Because it's whatever the community truly wants. So wherever that demand comes from, whatever it is the community wants, there's, all of these um, directional decisions can all be managed via governance. And Slingshot does also made it very simple for people to get involved in governance, something that we've seen a lot of other DAOs fail in. So there's ready to use templates. There's sections in Discord with how-to videos to make it super simple. So if somebody has an idea or they're looking for an additional grant on a particular build, or a new metaverse is to be added, or a new world is to be added, they simply fill out a form or start a governance proposal. But on a personal level, I would love to see more Web3 projects join the platform, just because that's a passion, a hobby of mine. But I suspect at this stage, given where we are, it does feel like it's going to be, as you mentioned, the Fortnites of the world, and these other platforms that already have 50 million a day users. I suspect that's where a lot of initial interest will come, but I hope to see a decent representation of Web3.
Yeah, agreed. So maybe we could touch a little bit on the token. You mentioned governance, you mentioned the rewards, you mentioned 2000 is given to people who win for the best ideas. And this is sort of a leg up over the crowdfunding platforms that have existed in the past with Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and all of those, because everybody gets rewarded. It's like a beautiful example of marginal contribution in game theory. Everybody who's putting something in, whether it's large or small, is getting some sort of reward. And that's kind of the magic of these Web3 platforms, and especially a DAO. So what chain is the token on? Is it available on DEXs? How's it working right now? Did community members, put liquidity together, and what are you seeing there?
A lot of questions, Steve. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. The application for Slingshot DAO runs on Polygon.
Cool.
So the token is naturally there. In terms of where the token is available, there is, in line with the second Slingshot improvement proposal, governance proposal that went through, there is currently an LBP which is running. So tokens are available there. Thereafter, again, it depends on the community, like what initiatives they want to put through governance in terms of, where the liquidity should be, if there should be liquidity, of course, and what platforms. But there's already talks in chat amongst different community members that some people are just going to create their own pools. So that's something that we'll find out, I guess, over the coming days and weeks. In terms of the token and how it's used, the token is actually integral for the product working. And the way it works today is that a VE token model is being used, and essentially, for those that aren't familiar, what that means is, it's a concept that was popularized by Curve a couple of years ago, right at the beginning of DeFi summer. And essentially, when you have Sling token, the more tokens you have and you lock, the more voting power you receive. And the principle is very simple, simply trying to align long-term oriented users with the platform. So the people whom have the most faith, belief, and are going to be here for the longest, they should have the largest say. So just because somebody has more money doesn't mean, and are able to buy more Sling tokens, doesn't necessarily translate to them having a bigger voice. And it's really important, especially when it comes to governance decisions, that the system is as fair as it possibly can be. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's definitely one of the better systems that's currently out there. And then obviously having more voting power when it comes to actually voting on these different gaming ideas, apart from being fun, of course, it does make you eligible for a larger percentage of the rewards that are distributed during that epoch, because the rewards are distributed on a pro rata basis. So there's a variety of different benefits.
Got it. Got it. Well, those are all the questions that I wanted to ask you. I mean, we're both contributors. We're both trying to, get these ideas funded, and it's such an exciting time to watch this thing really kick off. We've been talking about it for a long time, so it's really cool to see it. Where can people learn more about it?
Twitter is always a great place, but if you want to get more involved, Discord is where the heart is at the moment. So definitely recommend people jump into Discord. But before that, if they're Discord shy for whatever reason, I think going to the leaderboard section of the website is a fun place to begin. Just looking at the games and seeing the passion from the Roblox users, from the Sandbox users, really will spark a great interest, I think, in a lot of your viewers.
Right on, right on. And if you guys have stuck around to the end of this interview, this last clip will be on LimeWire. If you guys want to see that bonus clip, definitely check out LimeWire. All the links that Tabby mentioned are in the description below, and I will see you guys here on the next episode.
Cheers.
That is it for my interview here with Tabby about the Slingshot DAO. Such an exciting platform. I'm really excited to watch this grow over the next couple of years here, and just seeing huge platforms like Roblox and Fortnite creators coming in, getting rewarded, and just the game theory around rewarding everybody that's participating, whether it's the person who's creating the ideas or the individuals voting on those ideas. I really like the all-encompassing reward structure, and the Sling token is out there. It is a really cool concept. The platform requires that token in order for it to survive. So it's a really great DAO organization kind of concept. And that is it for this episode. Slap a like on this video if you're interested in Slingshot DAO. The link will be in the description below. And I will see you guys here on the next episode of Hack Crypto.